Hi, it's Beth Ann from the van, and today I have more thoughts. Today's thoughts, and yesterday's thoughts, and the day before thought, pretty much all this week's thoughts, were about God, the notion of deities. Just been thinking a lot about how in the world that we live in, they don't make sense. Deities don't make sense because as we learn about different people, they all have different ideas of the deities that and the thing is, the notion of God is a creation of ancient people to help them understand their world, because there was so much that they couldn't understand because they didn't have the scientific knowledge or the learning to have the wisdom to know any better, so they had to attribute it to an outside force. And so this outside force became whatever personality that the culture at the time was exhibiting or whatever. And that's why in my religious upbringing, it's the Judeo-Christian lore and mythology, so I refer to it a lot. But the relationship was with man was one of between man and a sacrifice and God, because there had to be a sacrifice. And then Jesus came and he satisfied that by being the sacrifice, and he taught us to love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, mind, and soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. Okay, so the love movement started. Jesus was the original love cult. There you go. He was the one. Paul was actually the first Jesus cult originator. Just check out all the books he wrote in the Bible. So there's enough people now that are getting enlightened enough by whatever path they've taken. And I thought I was enlightened, and I was still a Christian, because enlightenment, when you're enlightened, you understand that there are a lot of paths to get there. And I just believed at the time that my path was the Christian path. That was part of my path, but I just kept going on the straight and narrow path, not diverging between being a heathen or being a good Christian girl. Okay, we just stay right there in the middle. All right, so that's the balance that I talk about. So it started with, I don't believe in the devil, because the devil, the original, and then, I came up with this whole thing and had an epiphany about how this is why I like triangles and 3s and 9s. So the triune God, we are also triune beings because we're a reflection of God. Everything, and from that, there's just a lot of other things that spiral out. But we're staying here with why no notion of God and how it started. And it started with, I had an epiphany that and I was still a Christian, that you had to die to ego. And as Christians, it's called die to self. In psychology, I think it's the ego. You have to kill the ego. And I refer to it a lot as pride, because I think it comes down to pride and greed. And those two things make ego. But anyway, so I have this thing about 3s, and we're 3. But now in my leveled up state, the 3 that I see, the triad that I see myself as, is my finite identity, my infinite identity, and my highest self. So that's my triad. And guess who's the top of the triad? Me. How'd I get there? Well, let's go back to, as a Christian, I still believe that as I believe that there were many paths to enlightenment, to get to God, I also that's what really started me questioning about everything. So I just started questioning, but I was still believing in God. There's just a lot of paths to commune with God. Everybody finds their own paths depending on their life experience. And I still believe all that shit. Because that's like one of my foundational truths. That whatever you believe, fucking believe it. And whatever I just said a second ago, that I blanked out on. But anyway, yeah, so those are some of my things. So we are the divinity. We are like our higher power. We're our own higher power. I don't like to say that we're a God, because we're not a God. We're divine, but we're not a deity. We don't have a control over anybody else's life or destiny or anything. Just our own. Okay? So, in that sense, if you want to call yourself a God, because I do say I'm a goddess, because I control my universe. I control me in that universe, but I'm not trying to control anybody else as my goddess self. No. I'm just staying on my path, making my choices, controlling myself. And that controls my life, which makes my life, which makes my existence, which makes my experience, which makes my knowledge, supports my knowledge, all that stuff. So that's why it's a 3D level up, because it's the third dimension of getting away from the idea of a deity by taking the vengeful God that needed sacrifice to the love God that just wants everybody to love each other. You see how they swung back and forth? Yeah. And now we got Beth Ann coming in here saying, balance that shit. Realize that you're on your own higher power. You create your own magic, your own miracles, your own good vibes. You manifest, whatever the fuck you want to call it. When good things happen in your life, you did do that shit. Because you made choices to get to that. You saw that for yourself and you made choices to get there. That's how successful people are successful. That's the cheat code to life right there. I do a lot of video game references also because I was a big Zelda fan in one of my manic, wasn't a manic moment. It was a balanced moment. I was very much a gamer. Oh, shoot. So the 3D level up is to realize that you are your own higher power. Oh, and I got there. I go backwards sometimes because it's kind of how my infinite mind processes things or whatever. I don't know. It's weird because when I take notes of something, if I read it one way, it has a certain kind of meaning and feel to it. If I read the paragraph back a different way, it's different. That's like the epiphany part. It's pretty cool. But that's another reason what helped me realize that I do have an infinite mind that is separate from, or maybe it's my schizophrenia. I don't know. Which is why I have all kinds of theories about mental health and leveling up and why it's not working for a lot of people. And there is so much mental illness, and because neurodivergence is actually the norm. We've been in this cycle of putting people in boxes for so long that we've forgotten that. So we got to get back to the default, or there's going to be a mass extinction event. I'm going to keep saying it. Nostradamus kept saying it. He said 2040 to 2070 or 2060, or 2080. I don't know. I've always thought around 2060. We don't got much time. If we don't fix our shit and get this planet taken care of, she's going to take care of us. And there will be a remnant remaining. I think I said this already. Or I was talking to my friend. But anyway, the transition from being a Christian to being a non-deist is when I realized that we are the devil in the world. There's no outside force influencing us to do evil things. That's a scapegoat. That's a cop-out. Most people know it. That's why there's that imagery of the devil and the angel, and they both look like the person that they're on the shoulder of, because it's literally them. They wanted to demonize them, as people do, because they like to take things to extreme and, try to make things scarier and whatever. But you know what I think those things are? I think nightmares are the existences of other civilizations that just get relived in our dreams. The way we experience it, we're just matching our life experiences. When we're the star of it, we're just matching our life experiences. So when I was having those dreams that was like watching a video game, it's because that was somebody else's existence and they were reliving it through me, and I just felt like I was watching it because I was. So, and I do that because I believe that my balanced, transcendent self keeps me connected to the universal consciousness that holds all the knowledge. And that's why I say, I know everything I need to know. And when I don't know, I don't know. But when I know, I'll know. Okay? So, I have consumed a lot of information in my life. Research, read, overeducated, well read, I always used to say. So, when I put it all together that we're the devil in the world, we create the evil, I then kind of realized that we create the good. And then I went to, so I'm just kind of like Jesus. Because I'm just, I'm enlightened and I'm seeing these things. And because I had a kindness movement in my heart, in my head at one point too. So and I just kept on this path and kept exploring. And then I had the unfortunate experience of having a manic episode at the same time as a download in the same proximity of a lot of emotional trauma with death in my family that broke my mind for a while. And for the last 2 years, things have just been going back, and this is the result. Me realizing, as I'm the devil in the world, I'm the Jesus in the world. I bring all the good, just like I bring all the bad. And it's by the choices that we make. So, for a while, my slogan was make good choices. It's still my slogan. I still say, but my dad had a longer one. Always do the right things, always. That was his slogan, because he had moments of enlightenment. He just, he kept oscillating. He couldn't find that balance to stay at that sweet spot where you're at your most creative. So, nicotine helps regulate connection somehow. I don't know. I discovered that in a download 2 years ago. Actually, when my mind broke, nicotine was introduced. And so, when I'm having a lot of thoughts, it just helps me straighten them out. But as we bring the good into the world, we bring the evil into the world. Yeah, I'm going to circle back around until I finish my thought. It's my finite side that keeps the rabbit trailing. My infinite side is like, Oh my God, would you just stay on track here? And my higher self is just nudging me in the right direction. So here we go. We're back. Sometimes I just chant. I don't even know what I'm saying. I just channel it used to be called the Holy Spirit, right? When I was a Christian. Because I've always had these experiences my whole freaking life. Like, God spoke to me and through me, and yeah. So that's why I believe in me as much as I ever did Jesus, because I have the same power that he had. I create my own existence. I'm living my most meaningful life, but I'm here to explain to people that it's just not love your neighbor as yourself and love God. Realize that you got to love yourself because you are the creator of your life. And since you are the creator, you are your own God. Because that's how gods become gods, right? They create the existence that we live in. So, who does that? We do. In this miraculous merging of stardust and magic between whatever it is that is still unfathomable, that exists in the spaces between matter and everything. Once we can quantify that, figure that out, we'll be at peak society till we get to the point where there's enough people to realize there's another dimension. Whatever that dimension is, I don't know. And it's taken eons to get to this dimension. Well, at least 10,000, 20, I don't know. Written history, like Judaic history is how old? 10,000 years, whatever it is. Yeah, so these patterns have been going on in cycles in different ways. We just never knew about them because we didn't have the technology that we have today. Our technology today is why it's the right time. And all my life experiences, education, and ponderings is why I'm the right person. Because I believe in myself. I believe in you. I believe in love. But I believe in hate. But I make my own choices and I choose love. I choose to be kind. I choose to be the kind of person that I want to meet. I help shape the world I exist in. And if my mind is always looking for the positive things, because I'm a positive person, I'm an optimist, those are the things that are picked up on and processed into affirmation of a behavior or a thought or an idea because of our quantum computer minds that are doing a lot more calculating and rabbit trailing than we ever, to get. It just happens so fast that to us it's nothing. I mean, and the next generation of people will understand that. And that's what's cool. To understand how it works. Because I can take you from the source to the end times in my worldview. And my worldview is too big to have any deities. Because we've got to understand, learn who we are infinitely, as well as we know our finite selves. Balance those two forces. Everything changes. Everything gets better. Everything progresses. Or we can keep doing this swinging back and forth shit. Somebody trying to use the same systems or so slowly change ideas, and then other people will come back like that's 2 steps forward, 3 steps back thing. But you see, progress is always made, or we'd still be in a cave. Progress always happens. It's part of the Mobius strip of life. And we got to make better choices, be better people. But that's all. That's why I don't believe in deities, because I'm my own higher power. And I believe in myself as much as I ever believed in Jesus. And I believe I perform miracles that I can't explain. But I believe it. And that's all it takes. Because once you live what you believe, that's your best existence. That's your most meaningful life. Because you get to imagine, you get to have the vision of what you want your life to look like, and you make choices towards that vision. That's life's cheat code. I love you because I love me, and you and me are the same. We are connected all the way back to the beginning by the inner antimatter that is in and around us.